Donald Trump continues to rot all alone in Palm Beach, stewing on his failed policies, stewing on the fact that he is a complete and utter loser, a total failure, and the American people have been resilient, standing up to this gangster regime. Americans have had enough. And so, Donald, you can post away all night, rant and rave like a lunatic, but you've been utterly exposed. This is what Donald Trump was posting late last night. The peace president. The peace president, you delusional psychopath. You have created more danger throughout the world than at any time other than leading up to World War I and World War II at this point. You make up fake peace deals that you want to brag about between Cambodia and Thailand or between Congo and Rwanda. You are an utter fraud. You are making the world more dangerous. You're posting memes, the peace president. Why don't you end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours like you promised, instead of being a bootlicker of Putin? You know what? Being a accomplice of Putin at this point. Utterly, utterly despicable. Donald Trump then posts, I am pleased to announce that I am appointing the great governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, as the United States special envoy to Greenland. Yes, he understands how essential Greenland is to our national security and will strongly advance our country's interests for the safety, security, and survival of our allies and indeed the world. Congratulations, Jeff. First off, Jeff Landry, the governor of Louisiana, is a complete and utter maniac. Have you ever heard that guy speak before? Second, this is yet another provocative move by Donald Trump to threaten Denmark. Having this special envoy is viewed and could be and should be viewed as, in fact, a hostile act towards an area that Donald Trump says that he wants to conquer. Have no doubt about what Donald Trump's bloodlust and imperial ambitions are. He wants to provoke a war with Venezuela, and is why he continues to send the United States military to seize these ships off the coast of Venezuela, these oil tankers, regardless of whether they're sanctioned or unsanctioned. And Donald Trump is also announcing that later today from Palm Beach, he will be having an announcement with Pete Hegseth about something, and it says Trump makes an announcement with Secretary of War and the Secretary of Navy. Look for them to talk about more aggressive and hostile acts and war crimes that the United States will be engaged in. And Trump wants to do all of this to distract from the release of the Epstein files. The cover-up on Friday is a violation of the Epstein Transparency Act, and everything the Trump regime has been doing has been just shedding a light on how this regime is covering up a child sex trafficking ring and implicating themselves in said child sex trafficking ring. Look at the emails that Donald Trump was sending all throughout yesterday into the night. As I've said before, this guy is a con artist. He is a scammer. He is a fraud. He is a felon. He is a bankrupter. He is a sexual abuser. That's why he behaves this way. This is who he is. Before I show you these emails that he's been sending, a reminder, hit subscribe and help the MeidasTouch YouTube channel hit 6 million subscribers this month. We've got, 2 weeks to go before the end of this year. We're close to that 6 million mark. Help us hit 6 million. Here's what Donald Trump sent in an email to his supporters. I subscribe so you don't have to. It says, from Trump. Then it says, hello. Then it goes, before I sign your name on your tariff check, is Ben spelled right? From Trump, confirm the check. 11:59 p.m. deadline. And it's a photo of Donald Trump holding $100 bills. And he's asking you if he spelled your name right, as though he's about to write you a check right now based on the purported money brought in from tariffs. Except when you click the button confirm check here, it asks you to send $1,000 or $3,000 to, quote, stand with Trump, and then it puts you on a recurring submission of $1,000 and $3,000. So I just want you to think about what he's doing to his supporters. Right now in the United States, Americans are suffering. In red states, even more than blue states. But across the board, people are suffering. Prices right now continue to go up. Inflation is surging, although Trump wants to claim, I brought down inflation, I brought down prices. No, you haven't. You're manipulating and fabricating data by claiming that rent inflation went to 0% because you just put zero. You're claiming that the various goods and products inflation dropped 30 to 50% because you were using the Black Friday sales. We know your schemes and scams. If Americans are lucky enough to get a paycheck right now, they're living paycheck to paycheck and being psychologically tortured where they have to decide, can I afford healthcare or my rent? I have to decide what. Americans can't afford rent. They can't afford homes. Their health care is being ripped away from them right now by this gangster regime as Trump and the MAGA Republicans are on vacation early and they're refusing to put a floor vote to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies. And you know, if you've looked at the prices for your Affordable Care Act plans, they're up 3, 5, 7 times. People can't afford this right now. And the Trump regime is scamming people saying we're going to give you money back, but then they make you pay him. This is what con artists do. Then this is another post from Trump right after. I'm alone. This is real. This isn't AI. This is a real message that Donald Trump sends to his supporters. I'm alone and in the dark, but I know you are still by my side. So when you say, hey, Ben, isn't it hyperbolic that you're saying Trump is all alone and rotting in his own misery? Look at what he writes. This is his post. I'm reading you his message. It's a weird photo of him. It looks like he's crying. And it says, some people are saying this is sad. I'm sitting here alone in the war room fighting for you. The rest of the staff went home hours ago. It's just me, one dying laptop and a countdown clock to my urgent end of the year deadline. We are going to have to act fast. And then it demands that you pay him money. And then he's also been posting inflation drops to 2.7%, defying expectations. No, you are a con artist. The way you've inflated and deflated the valuations of your properties and were found civilly liable for fraud, the way you engaged in business records fraud and were criminally convicted on 34 felony counts, you're just doing it again, except it's to the economy, and the American people are your freaking victims right here. Look, the MAGA Republicans are horrified also at Donald Trump's speech at the end of last week in North Carolina. This latest Politico report explains how the execution was abysmal, said one Republican operative who served in the first Trump administration. The quote, I feel your pain speech. He just doesn't have that club in his bag. I don't think he's got any clubs in the bag if we're talking about his cognitive abilities. He was up there on the stage bragging about knowing the difference between a hippopotamus and a giraffe on yet another cognitive exam he took. He said that he should call Hillary Clinton the B word, he said. He went on to talk about Melania's panties, and he said she likes to iron her panties. What the hell were we watching? It wasn't even that he didn't address affordability. The guy behaved like, I don't know, like he was cognitively sick. You know, and again, you could speculate, is this the beginning of Alzheimer's? Is this dementia? All I know is that just like the Epstein, I don't know. Let me be clear. I'm expressing my First Amendment opinion, okay? But just like the Epstein cover-up, he's covering up his medical files. They're covering up the videos of the strikes on the survivors off the coast of Venezuela. They are covering up everything that they do is another cover-up here. Take a look at this report for the Center for Economic and Policy Research. How many manufacturing jobs has the Trump administration, the regime, actually lost? Well, based on the data we have to date, it looks like manufacturing has experienced more of a slump than is generally recognized. Generally recognized by who? If you're in manufacturing, you know there's a slump. generally recognized by the regime that propagandizes and lies every day. We see the layoffs, and we see the Trump regime pushing unregulated AI and data centers to replace the jobs of workers. We see the layoff announcements every single day. We know that unemployment is up 54%. Over 1 million jobs have been lost this past year alone, making this year having similar stats to like the Great Recession. We know that. Now, I'm going to do a whole other video on this morning, so keep checking back every 90 minutes. But you had Donald Trump conspire with the new leaders of CBS to kill a episode they were going to air last night on the Trump administration sending the deportees from Venezuela to the El Salvador in brutal and torturous conditions in the concentration camp there. Barry Weiss, the new head of CBS, the editor-in-chief, killed the story because the Trump regime is getting very sad that why would you expose what the Trump regime is doing? Why would you expose them? Everything is a cover-up with this regime. Everything is a cover-up. Oh, and by the way, you know how the Trump regime was like, our airstrikes on Iran were perfect. We obliterated Iran. Remember when they said that? And we were like, no, you didn't. You didn't even impact the nuclear materials at all, really. They're able to re-up their program if they want to. Well, Israel is warning the Trump regime over the weekend that ongoing missile exercises and other unusual movements by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the IRGC, could be preparation for an attack against Israel. 3 Israeli and U.S. sources with knowledge of the issue told Axios. Well, here we go again, I guess, right? Is there going to be more bombings? Is that what's going to happen? And then Trump can say it's totally obliterated, and it's not. Now, with all of this ridiculous, with all of this going on, okay, what's the priorities of MAGA Mike Johnson and the MAGA Republicans? Is it protecting your health care? Is it making sure you get paid with dignity so you can afford a home? Is it trying to increase, you like that noise? Are they trying to increase the supply of homes to reduce the unaffordability of housing? What are they focused on? Well, MAGA Mike Johnson is focused on building Charlie Kirk statues. Charlie Kirk statues. Here, play this clip.
We're no longer in a battle, no longer in a contrast just between Republicans and Democrats. We're in a contrast between 2 completely different, diametrically opposed worldviews. Charlie stood for that. I knew him a long time, and yes, Andy Biggs, we're going to work on that statue in the Capitol, okay?
And then you have J.D. Vance saying that mission accomplished. He says, under the Trump regime, white people don't need to apologize for being white anymore. Mission accomplished, he says. Here, play this clip.
In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore.
Finally, you've got Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's former criminal defense lawyer, who's now the number 2 at the DOJ, saying the following on Meet the Press about why was Ghislaine Maxwell moved just days after you interviewed her? She was in a maximum security facility in Tallahassee because she was convicted of child sex trafficking. So why would the Bureau of Prisons, which reports to you, move her from Tallahassee to Bryan, Texas, to be in a minimum security facility where convicted child sex traffickers are not allowed to go because they're children who visit their parents at the facility, and it's right by Texas A&M, a college campus. So what are you doing there, Blanche? What are you doing there, Blanche? Here, play this clip.
Warren, we're almost out of time. I do want to ask you about Ghislaine Maxwell, who was, of course, convicted in 2021 for her role in helping Jeffrey Epstein traffic his victims. In July, you interviewed her in Florida, where she was serving a 20-year sentence in federal prison. Just a week later, Maxwell was moved to a more permissive prison camp in Texas. Why was she moved just days after you interviewed her, Mr. Blanche?
So that's a Bureau of Prison Security issue that I will not talk about.
Did you have anything to do with it? Did you have anything to do with it?
Let me finish. First of all, I am responsible for the Bureau of Prisons. So every decision that they make lands on my desk to the extent it needs to. But just let me talk about the security issue. At the time that I met Miss Maxwell, there was a tremendous amount of scrutiny and publicity towards her. And the institution she was in, she was suffering numerous threats against her life. So the BOP is not only responsible for putting people in jail and making sure they stay in jail, but also for their safety.
Aren't these Trump regime people just pathetic? Aren't they just pathetic? Hit subscribe. Help us get to 6 million subscribers. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.